The way that I see it is that just because feminism posed itself as what every woman wanted, that's not the case. There were tons of women who were perfectly happy, me being one of them, perfectly happy with like the traditional whole life role of like getting married, having kids, raising the kids, being the stay-at-home
What
wife.
are you
I wanted
fucking
that.
talking about? You absolutely hated it. You write all about it in your book.
No,
how much
I only
you hated the traditional lifestyle. You wanted to work in the worst way. You were totally oppressed by the patriarchy. You wrote an entire fucking book outlining this.
It's because I was simply married, like in your case, right position, but wrong man, like very, very wrong man. And so I had a very bad experience with it.
You
but now
advise women against this exact type of relationship and tell them that it's probably bad for them and to embrace their like intersexual hooker, basically, right? Like that's what you advise them to do.
I think you've misunderstood because you gave such a brief look through my book and just made your judgment. But what I was really expressing is that what I was really expressing was that I was never taught how to pick a healthy relationship. Therefore, when I got into the role that I believed I wanted, it felt completely wrong because I was with the completely wrong guy. That was more what I was getting at. And so part of my journey back to a more traditional mindset involved me going through the stent of feminism. Like, okay, let me see what these girls are talking about with this, that, all this craziness, freedom, liberation, all the way to come back around to my next book will be like my journey back to a more traditional female or nurturing role.
There's no tradition here. What do you mean? You're an OnlyFans sex worker. You're not. By no means have you circled back to a traditional role.
I'm a stay-at-home homeschool mom of 3 kids. That's as traditional as I can be right now. I don't have a husband.
So what does traditional mean? Does that just mean a man goes and works while you stay the fuck home? Is that all you think traditional is? Or is there a set of values with that?
I think it means prioritizing home economics and raising children if you have them.
So then it doesn't mean shit. So all it means is a woman stays home and she watches the kids and the man goes out and works. That's all you think traditional is?
No, I believe it's the general submission of the woman and the general leadership and dominance of the man, if there was one. In my case, I don't have one. So that part of the tradition is not in my life right now.
Every non-traditional relationship on planet Earth can have all women submitting to men. All of them. And it would still be as far from traditional as you can imagine. They could do something like, I don't know, all the women go out and work and the man stays home and the woman still submits to him, right? Like all of the criteria that you just laid out for traditional, it just sounds like gobbledygook to me. Like there has to be some value set that we're looking for, that we're leaning towards for why we're doing this.
I'm not speaking from like a capitalistic domestic business partnership. I'm talking about like an agape love, like soul connection with another human where you're both in it to win it with each other, a ride or die. Like, so basically we can switch in and out of roles depending on the season we're each going through. So for example, maybe it's not then. Maybe it's a blend. Maybe it's a more
It sounds like just typical modernism.
It's a bridge.
It literally just sounds like modernism to me. Traditionalism, the idea of traditionalism is historically a thing, an experiment which worked. And so you're moving back towards whatever this thing was that worked because it's better than whatever the current thing is.
Well, because we've evolved, Andrew, so we no longer live in a social construct that's going to support traditionalism, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, of course we do.
It's not going to work anymore. It won't work anymore. We've simply evolved too far
we haven't evolved
as a society.
Anything. Not only that, people are desperate to get back to some sense of what you call traditionalism by your own admission, including you. So the thing is like, no, I don't think we've evolved past shit. And not only that, just to give my take, the woman in the video is just a typical kind of selfish woman. So her idea here, it all starts with this false supposition of the word fair. This entire worldview revolves around this idea of fairness. Life's not fair. Relationships aren't fair. Marriages aren't fair. When you're talking about equally yoked, that means something completely different than who does the dishes on Thursday. That has nothing to do with any of that. What you're looking at inside of one of these relationships should not be the idea of fair. It should be the idea of what works best for your family. And what's always
fluidity. Fluidity. You need to be fluid for the family.
Let me finish, Desiree. It's okay, Desiree. Just let me finish real quick. What works best for your family dynamic? And so the traditionalists are saying what works best for society and the family dynamic is to have women stay at home to raise the kids, not in laboratories. And the reason they don't want women in laboratories is because then they have to outsource the childcare. So I want the smartest women at home raising the next generation of really smart kids, right? That's what I want. That would make a lot more sense than wasting their potential and breeding years.
That's what I'm doing.
On having them in a job that a man can do. So the idea here is that the traditionalist movement is saying modernity is screwed up with our priority set because women have become extremely self-centered around this idea of fair, when in fact there is nothing fair. Women don't have to sign up for a draft, for instance. That's not fair. Women are not the people who have to defend you while you sleep. That's not fair. All sorts of things which aren't fair, but yet for some reason men are able to deal with it and women don't seem to be able to deal with it.
Are you done?
Mm-hmm.
So, a couple things. First of all, I was enlisted to go into the U.S. military, but I got pregnant and I had to sign a military discharge. So I was fine as a woman going into the military. Just a caveat.
Yeah,
but I will say that it sounds to me like, by your definition, I am actually a traditional woman because I have made many sacrifices to figure out a way to still be a stay-at-home mom and a homeschool mom at that of my 3 kids and not work outside the home. I figured out a home business that I could do that made enough money with me only working a few hours a week. And by the way, that's not making new content because I have tons and tons of content from when the kids used to go to their dads every weekend. So they were never around any of that. It's no different than how you made your online courses. Now it's there, and all you have to do is promotions, basically. Same for me. So judge it all you want. That was what worked for me. That was like the supply and demand. I tried to do like the online coaching thing, writing books, the whole thing, and nobody was going for it.
I really don't think that what we mean when we say traditional lifestyle is your mom stays home because she can also engage in prostitution. I don't think that that is traditional. I don't think by anybody's metric that would ever be considered traditional, Desiree, ever. And so the thing is I'm not even trying to beat you up about it. I'm just telling you, like, how would that ever fit a metric for traditional? We want the best and brightest to stay at home and take care of their kids instead of being in a lab, not hookers, right? That's not what we're after. Like, maybe the hookers should outsource the child care.
So could you tell me a better way that I could make, let's say, $6,000 a month and only work a couple hours a week because I have to full-time take care of 3 kids?
What I would do instead,
what should I do?
Well, of course, there's tons of other better ways that you could have spent your time to make 6,000.
I'm curious.
Hang on, stop, Desiree. Let me answer your question. So the first supposition here is that you must make $6,000 a week. Why must you?
Because that's how much my cost of living is.
Oh, okay, so you can't downgrade?
There's no way. I live in Southern California. I live in Southern California. My rent alone is $2,700.
Wait, I just want to make sure I got this right. Southern California costs $24,000 a month to live in, huh?
No, $24,000. I I said
you said $6,000 a week.
No, $6,000 a month. A month, honey,
a month. Make $6,000 a month in Southern California working an entry-level job, Desiree.
But then who's going to watch the kids? Who's going to homeschool my kids?
Yeah, you're in that case, because you're a single mom, you're going to have to outsource that. There's no choice there.
But why? But I don't want to. I would rather have a bad reputation with guys like you and raise my own kids. I don't give a shit what you think.
Yeah,
and many men have grace and understanding for my choices because they understand.
This is my point. You're making my point for me, right? Which is, okay, so what you say is, look, I'm actually just prostituting myself for the kids, right? Because I want to be able to stay at home with the kids. Yet I would counter and say, okay, but the integrity is absolutely compromised. Your children are never going to thank you later. They're never going to be like, Mom.
My kids are not raised in a puritanical, like,
it's not
sex
puritanical.
negative type of culture.
They're gonna get to the age of reason.
This is a totally different generation, Andrew. They're not sexually repressed like your generation is. They're cool.
Oh yeah, like the women in the
They're good
70s were so sexually repressed. Tell me another fucking bullshit lie. They weren't sexually repressed at all. Boomers weren't sexually repressed. That's all nonsense. Overly sexualized generation, in fact. The thing is that this is the first generation, the Zoomers, where we see pushback towards this type of sexualization for once, finally. And if you think that your kids won't hit the age of reason and go, you know, Mom, I think that there might have been better fucking
They're going
ways.
through, the two older ones are going through puberty, so they're kind of at that questioning everything. And this,
no, they're not at it yet. But when they're in their 20s, you're going to have some splaining to do.
I believe that my relationship with my children is strong enough such that even if they had looked back and had an issue with what I was doing, I don't think it would be any bigger of an issue than any person who comes of age and starts judging what their parent did. I don't think it will be. In fact, I can say for sure, it's not going to be worse than my evaluation of my parents. I'll tell you that. So at least I'm doing a little bit better.
Not all choices when you fuck something up are optimal choices. So for instance, if you are in a marriage and you choose to end the marriage because, like you said in your book, you're not feeling like fucking like you're an amazing queen or whatever. So the marriage ends.
Because I was under CPS order basically to leave my marriage, or I would get my kids taken away as an accomplice to my
ex. So whatever the circumstances are, you end up with a divorce. Okay, so when you end up with a divorce, now you're in an immediate unoptimal situation, which is, okay, now we either have to split custody or one of us has full custody. You have a whole battle that you have to do around that. So now you don't have optimal choices at this point, okay? But there's still better choices to be had, I think, than posting up pictures of you with jizz on your face. I think that there's better decisions which could be made than that, honestly, Desiree. And the thing is like, fine, you can say, no, you know, Andrew, but what this has done is it's allowed me to have enough money to do A, B, C, and D, but that's all shit for you. You just love the fucking attention. You're not doing this shit because of your kids. You do it because you love the fucking attention. You just love it. It's your favorite. And I think that you should just stop coping and be honest about it.